Hi everyone, my name is Victor and I'm one of the authors of TechNeed. Today we're going to continue with our course. Well, it feels good to to always move forward. I've been looking forward to when we'll get to this particular lesson, which is writing, running, and managing the Ansible Playbook. Alright, so if you've been following me right from the beginning of this lesson, when we introduced what Ansible is, we talked about Ansible. We talked about a lot of features and components of Ansible. We also looked at the infrastructure of Ansible. We talked about Playbook. We talked about Ansible ad-hoc. And we say that Ansible ad-hoc command executes Ansible task as well, but it can be compared to using the Ansible playbook to execute Ansible task, and that's because Ansible ad-hoc is limited. All right, so Ansible, as a matter of fact, if you execute Ansible task with Ansible ad-hoc, not all tasks, but some of the tasks, those tasks will not work as idempotent task. But with Playbook, all tasks will be idempotent. All tasks can be reusable. All tasks are not limited in any way compared to when using the Ansible ad-hoc command. Yes, Ansible ad-hoc is very fast. If you quickly need to get an information using the Ansible ad-hoc, in no time you will get that information. But it can't do so many things. If you need to run, if you need to orchestrate a task, of course you cannot use the ad-hoc to do that. So the ad-hoc is just limited in its own way, and that is why we're going to be learning how to use the playbook to execute Ansible task. Yeah, ad-hoc to execute task, but playbook will do more of task execution than the ad-hoc. Yeah, so we talked about what Ansible Playbook is, and you can see that the Ansible Playbook is a unit of script that contains Ansible instructions or tasks. Yeah, so the scripts are written, they are a simple line of codes, which is true, and they are written in human readable form. They are written in YAML language, YAML, which means yet another markup language. So I'll be dropping the link to this particular lesson in the description box below. If you want to learn more about what Ansible Playbook is, you can of course read more about it. But I'm just going to, explain this to you in my own language. So let's talk about a playbook. You've seen that um, we've written it here that a playbook is just a line of code. Yeah, it's a script. It's a script in form of YAML language. And of course, a playbook is very flexible, and if you're writing a playbook, you should always write it in a very neat and systematic way. You should always, because YAML languages are some sort of languages that when you write it in a systematic way, you can easily read your script, you can easily read your code, and that has made playbook more smart and very popular orchestration tool that is being used out there these days. Playbook can become your documentation. Your code can become your documentation. All you need to do is to write it in a very smart way, in a very systematic way. And even if you're having issues, you can easily debug the issues because your code is your documentation, because you have named all your codes. And when troubleshooting, you can easily troubleshoot your code. So how do we write the Ansible playbook? When writing a playbook, indentation matters a lot. And when I say indentation, I mean the parent-child relationships, just the same way you have indentations in YAML syntax. So the indentation or the structure of a playbook matters. If you don't do this rightly, then your playbook will not run. If your indentations are not well placed, then your playbook will not run. So indentation with white spacings matters a lot in the playbook. So like I have said, since we configured Ansible to work in a current directory, so we need to go to that directory. So if I do ls, you can see the Ansible configuration file and the inventory file. So in this directory, we're going to be writing our playbook here. So to write the playbook, of course, I can call this any name, and I can also make sure that it ends with the .yml extension. So I'm going to call this my first playbook.yml. Alright, so you should know that a playbook must contain at least a play and a task. So when we say a play defines a host or group of hosts that will be mapped to a task or group of tasks. A task, on the other hand, is an instruction or Ansible operation that will be executed on the managed host with the use of modules and or arguments. So when we talked about the Ansible ad-hoc, we used some modules, and it is this modules that helps us execute the task. And of course, modules too comes with different arguments. Yeah, so let's write our first playbook. A playbook, like I said, must contain a play, and if you want to start a playbook, you can put this 3- if you wish, and if you don't wish, you can also remove it. I mean, that's just how you start a YAML syntax. So I'm going to put this, and I'm going to name my first play. So this is going to be dash, and this is going to be the parameter to name the first play, and the parameter is name. So I can just say my first play. All right. You notice that this dictionary is starting a list of item, and the list of item is starting with the name syntax, and you can see that it's a key value pair syntax. This is the key, and this is the value, which is my first play. So a list of item would always begin with a dash. Another list that will be in this item is host, and the host can be hqs-dev1.technid.com. so this is the managed host. And another list of item here is going to be task, task. All right, so this task too is going to have its own list of items. Under the task, we can give a task name. So this can be name. So when I pressed enter, you see that it automatically pushed it to the right hand side. So like I said, indentation matters. I'm going to push it back a bit because I want you to understand this explicitly first. Then later on we'll talk about other ways you can do your indentation. And also to make this easy for us, so that you can easily understand, we need to edit the VIM tool to suit what we're doing. But before we edit this VIM tool, let's continue first. So under the task dictionary, I'm going to have another list of items, and I'm going to call this name. So I'm going to name the task, and I'm going to say copy file 1 to directory 1. So that's the name of the task. So this is task 1 actually. So I can just say this is task 1 to make it easier for us. This is task 1. And under this task, what is going to help us to execute this task is a module, and the module is the copy module. So it's going to be directly under the name of the task. So if you wish, you might not name this task, you might just put the dash in front of copy. But like I said, be smart while writing your playbook. Always be smart. Make sure that you name your plays and tasks so that if there's any issue, you can easily debug it. So in this case, you can see that we've named our play. If I wish, I might not even name this play. I will just start right away from host, and I'll put the dash here. So my list of items is just going to start from host. The same thing as the task. If I wish, I might not name the tags, but it is a very good idea to always do this. So like I was saying, the copy module will help us to copy file 1 to directory 1. And we have arguments. Like I said, we have modules and argument or option. So for argument, this needs to be directly under copy. And directly under copy, you need to give a space. And when you give a space, so you can use the argument source. So the source is going to be from /etc. We created a file called file1 and file2. And then the destination also is going to be in, let's take this to /tmp/directory1. At this junction, you have been able to successfully write a playbook, and our playbook contains one play and one task. And the task is to copy this file in etc file1 to tmp directory 1. So you can see that writing a playbook is very easy. This is how you need to write a playbook. A playbook must contain at least one play and at least one task. Of course, a playbook can contain many plays and many tasks, and a play can also contain many tasks. As we go on in this course, we will see how to write playbook with different plays and with different tasks. But I would just quickly like to explain something here. Lord Jesus, please teach me how to teach you guys so you can really understand. Okay, so this is what I'm going to explain. You can see the dictionaries we have here, and you can see that, like I said, this is a parent-child relationship thing. So you can see that for task, we don't have a name for the value of task. So task is carrying another list of items, which is name and copy. And in the list of items, you can see that this dictionary has its own value, which is copy file 1 to directory 1, and this is the task 1. And you can also see that for copy, the value of, there is no value for copy, but value has another dictionary, which is SRC, and which is the argument SRC and destination. If I put SRC here, for example, running this playbook would not work. Like I said, indentation matters a lot. Indentation, which means child relationship, matters a lot. If it is wrong, then everything about your playbook will be wrong. So this has to be under copy module, and the copy module has to be directly under the name of this task, while the name of this task has to be directly under with a space under task. So if I wish, I can give a space just to say that this is a task, but then even this task, I cannot put the task here. The task needs to be directly under host, and that's why I said indentation matters a lot. All right, moving forward, let's add a second task to this play. So this has to be here. All right, so we're going to add a second task to this first play. So in this second task, we're going to verify if the AutoFS service is installed on hqsdev1.technic.com. And to do that, we need to also include the second task. So here I'm going to have a name. You see that I'm putting a space. So if you wish, you can put the space. If you wish, you might not put the space. But like I said, write your playbook to be neat. So I'm just going to put a space, and it's directly under name. But you see now that I need to be very sure that this is directly under the first task. The second task has to be directly under the first task. So here I'm going to say verify. I can give it any name I wish. So I'm just going to say verify if the AutoFS package is installed. This is my task 2. This is my task 2. And here, how do I verify? Which module would help me to do this? So the module that can help me to do anything when it comes to package is the YUM module. and which argument. Of course, I need argument to do this for me, and the argument will be name. I need the name argument. So which package? The package is going to be AutoFS. Yeah, I'm going to push this back. Don't worry, I will explain everything as we move on. It doesn't matter, but I just want you to understand indentation. And so another argument that I'm going to be using is the state argument. And the state argument, so I want to see if this package is present. So that's why I'm using present. And you can see that there is a space, there is a white spacing. After state, there's a space. There's also a space here. So when you're writing your key value pair, the key value pair is separated with colon and not equals to, unlike ad-hoc. And there also need to be a space while writing your key value pair when it comes to a playbook. So at this junction, you've been able to successfully write a playbook with one play and two tasks. So what are the tasks? The first task is copy file 1 to directory 1, and the second task is verify if the AutoFS package is installed. And don't forget, these tasks are both working with one play, and like I said, a play must contain a host, so they are all going to work against this host, or rather operate as against this host, and the host is hqsdev1.techni.com. So these two tasks will operate on this host. So this is a playbook with one play and two tasks. So now let's move forward. In this playbook, we're going to be adding the second play, and to do that, this needs to be directly under the first play. Like I said, indentation matters. So this is going to be name. This is going to be name. And I'm just going to give double spacing just because I'm writing the second play. I want this to be neat as possible. This is going to be name, and here I'm going to say my second play. So like I said, a play must contain a host. This is name. So host here, I can just pick the local host, or I can pick the group 1 host. So in group 1 we have both HQSDev1 and the local host in group 1. So here I'm going to put in my task. So this is going to be my third task. So in this task, I'm going to have name. So you can see that when you're writing a playbook and the playbook is beginning to get long, you might begin to have issues with indentation because of the way this VIM tool is. There are a lot of tools that you can use while writing a playbook. We have different editors. We have the Visual Studio. I know of the Visual Studio. I use that. We have Notepad++. But what I'm going to do is, because of this course, we don't have any other choice than to use the VIM tool. So I'm going to edit the VIM tool to suit us so that we can easily get the indentation, we can easily get the parent-child relationship, because if we miss it, this playbook will not run. So I'm going to be dropping the link to this lesson in the description section below so you can see how this can be done. So I have edited the VIM tool. You see that this is easier for me. I can easily get the indentation. So you can see that here I can see the dash name here. I can also see the dash name here. So this is fine for me. You can see the name here. You can see that by editing this way, I can easily get the indentation level. So this is okay for me. This is fine for me. So on the task, I'm going to be having the third task. So the third task is going to be name. I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to say verify if AutoFS is started and enabled. So this is task 3. So task 3 is going to do this for us. And which module are we going to use to do this? We need the service module to help us in doing this. And we also need some arguments. We need arguments like name. And the name is going to be AutoFS. This is the service we want to verify. And the state argument is going to be started. So I'm going to say start this service. And of course, oops, my battery is running low. And of course, I also want to enable the service. So I'm going to say enabled equals true. So we've been able to write 2 plays with 3 tasks. So this is the first play, 1 play, and this is the second play. And the first play has 2 tasks, task 1 and task 2. And the second play has just 1 task. This is task 1 for the second play. So in all, we have 3 tasks and 2 plays. So you know what, I'm going to change this from group 1 to HQS because this is going to be a YUM activity. I don't want to take too much of time. It's going to do this on both servers, so I just wanted to do it on one server. So this is going to be done on hqsdev1.technique.com. Like I said, don't forget, check the documentation. You will see how I was able to edit this VIM tool this way. If you're confused, just send a comment. I'm going to reply you. You can either write a comment in the description box here or on the website, whichever one. I'm going to reply you. So I'm going to save this file, and what we're going to do next is to run the playbook. So in the next lesson, I'm going to show you how to run a playbook. So thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like our videos, share our videos, and comment. By doing that, you're going to propel us, you're going to make us do more for you guys. Thank you once more, and bye for now.